In this matchup for Thursday Night Football, we have an NFC battle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. This is going to be the breakdown of the Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on Draftkings. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for our Thursday Night Football Showdown slate on DraftKings between the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. But before I deep dive into this very, very intriguing slate, guys, don't forget to smash that like, comment, and subscribe button. Don't forget about Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. We're going to touch on that really soon. But right now, we're on the homepage of the YouTube channel. We're at 1.48 thousand subscribers. Thank you guys. We were at like 1.47 or the low 1.46. You guys pushed forward. We reached 1.48. The goal. Hopefully we can go. Maybe we can do it from 1.48. Let's get to 1.5. All right, let's get to 1,500 and get halfway there, almost there to 2,000. All right, because you guys showed up and showed out on that last Monday Night Football video. 961 views. Thank you guys for the support. Hey, with the views, go ahead, throw some comments in there as well. I appreciate the boost in numbers there. So you guys really responded in that way for that particular video. Let's continue to keep that good juju going forward, all right? And for that Patreon, if you guys missed out, you gotta sign up for the Patreon. You missed out on Monday Night Football. We came through with the play. I wouldn't say play of the year, but the Bears were a nice size underdog. All the money was on the Minnesota Vikings, and I came through with you with a +3 on that Bears side, and they came out and won outright. So very good performance from the Bears, and that's what you're missing if you do not sign up for that Patreon link. That link is provided down below. Get connected right now. We're going to get ready for the back end of the NFL season, the playoff push for NFL. The future for the NFL is already in there. I'm going to drop the NBA futures as well, who I think is going to be in the finals. So guys, don't miss out on all that goodness. Sign up to that link down below. Before we get off to the captains and the flex for this matchup here between the Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys, we have to look at that injury report. The first team we're going to be looking at will be the Dallas Cowboys here. They have two significant guys here on that defensive side of the ball that are going to be trending towards being out, right? Dante Fowler missed practice on Monday and Tuesday with an illness. And then we have a very similar issue here, but this is a key factor. Micah Parsons missed practice on Monday, or didn't even show up. And then Tuesday didn't practice at all. So it's going to be crucial. Find out news on Wednesday if Micah Parsons is going to be in or out for this game on Thursday. That's going to be a major hit to this Dallas Cowboys defense if Micah Parsons is not in the game. That's going to allow time for Geno Smith to get to his receivers. All right, so that's going to be a key in or out there. Let's move on to the Seattle side of things. And there's not that many injuries here for Seattle. One key factor here is going to be Kenneth Walker, but it's going to allow value for us in this single game slate on Thursday for us to go and grab Zach Charbonnet yet again. So Kenneth Walker did not participate. Phil Haynes did not participate in practice, and D. Eskridge, he's more of a special teams guy. We had some limited from Derek Young, Leonard Williams, Will Dissly, and Jamal Adams. So everything is fine on the Seattle side except for Kenneth Walker, but we do like the upside here of Zach Charbonnet at that running back position. All right, let's get into the captains. Now on to the captain plays. We're going to look up at the top here of the list, and we're going to start things off with C.D. Lamb. All right, now C.D. Lamb, is he my favorite captain? I want to say no. I'll talk about my favorite captain coming up very soon, but for this Dallas Cowboys team, you got to understand they've been taking advantage of a very, very good schedule, all right? They've been dominating lower echelon teams. CeeDee Lamb has been outstanding so far this year, where he has over 30 fantasy points in 3 games already this year, all right? So he's been outstanding. Big performances. We have a little bit of a downturn in the past 2 weeks, but he's still getting in the end zone, all right? 4 for 53, 6 for 38 in the touchdown. Things are spreading a little bit more for this Dallas Cowboys offense. They're getting Brandon Cooks more involved, Jalen Tolbert more involved, Michael Gallup. Those guys are getting more involved in the offense. CeeDee Lamb is seeing a little bit of a downtrend, just a tad, but he's outstanding player to go with at the captain's position in this game, obviously, because he is the #1 target. But I do want to stress, all right, if we're looking at fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks, all right, this Seattle defense is going to be poorly ranked. If you're looking at overall, it's 22nd overall, but in the red zone, this is a bend don't break defense here. They're 9th, they're top 10 in that red zone. They're not giving up a lot of touchdowns in that red zone area. Bend don't break. They're giving up a ton of yards, but not that many touchdowns. So this could be a game where we can have a solid CD game, but he doesn't get it in the end zone. We have 3 games in a row with the touchdown. Could this be a game that CeeDee Lamb doesn't get in the end zone? Yes, it could be. This is over 500 team in the Seattle Seahawks, very talentedly coached by Pete Carroll. This is not Carolina. This is not Washington. This is not the Giants. This is not the Rams. Seattle is a better team than all those teams that I just mentioned, all right? So it's going to be a little bit of tougher matchup, all right? Just want to get that across the board fully. Maybe the under comes through as well. But CeeDee Lamb is going to be the first one on our list as a captain. Dak Prescott, I will mention him because I just told you this defense here isn't great, but it is solid enough to limit Dak Prescott. And we had some very good Dak Prescott games. 35 against Washington, 41 against Giants, 31 against the Eagles, 32 against the Rams, 24 against the Chargers. He's been outstanding, but there is a downside to Dak. 7 against San Francisco, 14 against New England, 15 against Arizona, all right, 6 against the Giants. So you see, it can go a different way. It can go different ways in this particular matchup here. All right, so I definitely do want to stress that on Dak Prescott. If you're, hey, we're going back to the well here. You've been hot, red hot fire. They're home again. This is going to be a little bit different matchup here, okay? Dak Prescott, if anything, I might bump him down. I'm going to bump him down to the flex instead of captain. I'm not going to be having him as a captain play, all right? Next guy. This is my favorite captain play if we're going with the Dallas Cowboys. That's going to be Tony Pollard, all right? Pollard started out red hot in the first 3 weeks with the Dallas Cowboys, struggled in the middle of the season, and this is the stretch run right before the playoffs here. Tony Pollard, he's catching steam. 12 for 61 in a touchdown, 13 and 79 in a touchdown. He's also getting receiving work, as you can see. 6 receptions and 4 receptions in the last 2 weeks. And if we want to look at fantasy points allowed to running backs, this is a perfect matchup for Tony Pollard to get right on prime time here on Thursday. Look at the Seattle Seahawks. They are 29th ranked against opposing running backs and 29th ranked in the red zone. All right, so they're not giving up passing TDs in the red zone. They're giving up running TDs, and that's where Tony Pollard comes in, and he should have a phenomenal game in this one. They're allowing around 98 rushing yards per game, 1.2 TDs per game, but look at this key factor, receiving. They're allowing 8 targets a game, 6.1 receptions, and around 45 yards. That's going to bode very, very well for Tony Pollard. So I'm loving the prospects of him in this in particular matchup here. And that's going to be my top play at captain, Tony Pollard. All right. Let's continue down the list. Let's look at some of the Seattle guys. DK Metcalf. Yes, this is the Dallas defense, but we have question marks on Micah Parsons. If he's out, that's going to allow more time to get the ball to DK Metcalf. And there's no Trayvon Diggs as well. So that's a bonus as for DK and Tyler Lockett. He had a down game against San Francisco, but that's the San Francisco defense. He's been pretty solid all year long, around giving you over double-digit fantasy points in each and every game. He's going to get the majority of the targets as well. He just needs to get in the end zone for him to go for that 20+ point performance, and he definitely has that in the bag. They want to keep up pace with the Dallas Cowboys as well. All right, so love DK Metcalf as a flex play on the Seattle side. The other play we can look at for Seattle can be Tyler Lockett. This can easily be a Lockett game or a DK Metcalf game. All right, so with some injuries to that defense for Dallas, these are going to be the guys that are going to benefit from that, Lockett and Metcalf. So I like Lockett in this particular matchup, getting similar targets to DK Metcalf in that 8 to 10 range. All right, it varies for Tyler Lockett there, but he's been a little bit hampered with injury, but he's been fighting through it and playing it despite the little bit of illnesses he's been having the past couple weeks. So we can go right back to the well. We've seen some upside here. 23 fantasy points against Washington, 22 against Cleveland in a very tough matchup. So Lockett could definitely get you there as a sneaky captain play, all right? And then last but not least, for the captains, I'm going to speak about Zach Charbonnet, all right? This is not a great matchup because, yes, the Dallas defense has been very, very good all year long, but we're going to add injuries on top of that, and we get opportunity. If Kenneth Walker doesn't come through with a limited practice on Wednesday, that's going to mean Zach Charbonnet is going to get the workload yet again. Look at the past 2 games. He has 29 rushing attempts, and he has 10 receptions in the past 2 games. We want to take that, and if he can fall in the end zone, he's going to be a perfect play as a captain that not a lot of people are going to be going to because, hey, it's the Dallas defense. Zach Charbonnet, we're a little bit scared about that. He's not we don't know what he can really do, and this is a perfect opportunity for him to surprise guys on prime time. He's a battering ram type of running back, and he's a dual threat running back as well. Zach Charbonnet is a little bit of a bruiser with some speed upside, so I like him as the final captain play in our lineup builds. Let's move on to the flex. Now for the flex options for this slate. If we're looking at the over-under here, as you can see, Dallas is favored by 9 points. That's a lot of points. And then the over-under is at 47.5. Okay, so should be a high-scoring environment. So when I'm talking about defenses and kickers, I'm most likely going to stay away from defense, but we can go towards kickers, especially if Micah Parsons is going to be out. That's going to be a problem for that Dallas Cowboys defense there. Despite the fact that they are home, we could get more of a back-and-forth type of environment in this game, okay? So for me, I'm staying away from Dallas defense, and I'm staying away from Seattle defense. All right, now for the flex plays, the first guy we're going to be talking about will be Jake Ferguson. This has been a little bit of a safety net here for Dak Prescott. He's had a very solid year so far, 40 catches, 421 yards, 4 TDs. He's had some bright spots in Week 10 against the Giants, 12.6, against Philly, 22.1, 14 against the Rams, 14 against the Patriots. So you've seen some goodness from Jake Ferguson. He's getting a decent amount of targets. The problem with last week was that game was a blowout and he didn't get much run. So that was the only downfall on that one. All right, but Jake Ferguson can be a solid flex play that we can go with. Geno Smith, I will bring up because this could be a bounce back game. If we have these key injuries for Dallas come through, we can have a bounce back performance for Geno Smith. He has played horribly this year, and they've already come out in in interviews this week about that he needs to get the ball out of his hands quicker. So they understand that they need to focus on that, to getting the ball into the playmaker's hands. He can't hold on to the ball and let the pass rush get to him. They've already said that. So Geno Smith, we should see a little bit of an uptick here. Hopefully we can get in that 18 to 22 range of fantasy points. That's what I need from him. That's what we need from him at this flex spot to be a very solid option here in this slate. All right. and he has the weapons. There's no excuses here. He can't hold on to that football and let the pass rush come to him. You got to be decisive. That's what he was doing last year. If you have to dump off the football, go ahead. So Geno Smith can be a flex play there. Brandon Cooks has been coming on strong for the Dallas Cowboys. He's been very up and down. He'll have a good game, then have a bad one. We saw a good one against Washington, another good one against the Giants with 35 fantasy points, and then 14 against the Rams. So a little bit of a seesaw here with Brandon Cooks, but he's getting more and more involved as this Dallas Cowboys team is getting comfortable with Dak Prescott passing the football. This could be a game where Dak Prescott could turn over to his old interception ways. So hopefully that doesn't come through fruition, and Brandon Cooks can come through as a flex play for your lineups. He's been pretty solid as of late. All right. As we continue to go down this list, kickers are going to be both viable. Aubrey and Myers, they both average 10 fantasy points a game, so that's going to be a positive mark. That's why we can go towards them in our lineup builds. And some other guys, some other factors. Let's clear out this list of flex plays. I have JSN on the list. They run a lot of 12 personnel, and that means 3 wide receivers. So you're going to see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets here. 11 personnel. You're going to see a lot of 3 wide receiver sets here for JSN, Lockett, and DK Metcalf. He's been coming on a little bit stronger in this back end of the season. As you can see, look at the first 6 games. No double-digit fantasy production. And then as of late, 16, 12, 12, 9, 7. A little bit of an uptick. You're seeing more usage and more targets for JSN. That's why he can be a flex play for us. If we're looking for upside wide receiver, he can be your guy. As we continue to go down lower and lower, past the kickers, past the defenses here, Michael Gallup can be a factor. Him and Jalen Tolbert are those wide receiver 3s that you can consider. So Gallup is at 3,800, and even cheaper is going to be $3,000, and Jalen Tolbert that you can go towards him. He's been performing more than Michael Gallup. He even has a touchdown recently in week 9. So I like him over Gallup, but they're pretty much splitting that wide receiver 3 work. All right. Some other sneaky plays here. We got Noah Fant. This is the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks. All right. They kind of run both of them, but the guy that's getting most of the snaps is going to be Noah Fant. They play Noah Fant, and they also play Will Dissly. Those are going to be the 2 tight ends, but Noah Fant is the higher upside. He can create after the catch as well. And then Jake Bobo, if you're really desperate, really desperate, he has some games in his log that he has showed up. Week 8 against Cleveland, 10 fantasy points. Week 7 against Arizona, 16. He has another game where he has another touchdown. There's 3 touchdowns so far this year. He can be a red zone guy if you're really desperate. Don't think you need to go there, but just want to put him on the board here. All right. So that's how far as we're going down. If we're looking at all these cheaper plays, you got Parkinson. So that's what Seattle does. They have a lot of tight ends, but the main guy is Noah Fant if you're really desperate. All right. So those are going to be the cheapest guys. Fant, Tolbert, Bobo. Those are going to be the lowest we'll go. And the guys you need to have in each and every one of your lineups. I'm going to start off with number 1, Tony Pollard. He's my favorite play on the slate. The next guy we're going to be looking at will be DK Metcalf on the other side of the football. And the third guy we're going to choose to have in each and every one of our lineups, it's going to be between Charbonnet and Lamb. Pretty much who I'm leaning towards. We'll throw both of them in there, all right? You can decide if you want to leave one out, but we do have enough salary to afford a captain if you want to move them up, and then afford a flex as well. So Charbonnet and Lamb are going to be our last 2 fill-ins. Charbonnet off of sheer usage, especially if Kenneth Walker is out, and then same thing with Lamb. He's been solid all year long. He needs to get in the end zone and get a little more volume, what we saw a few weeks prior than what we've seen the past 2 games. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with another video very soon. All right, peace out.